Welcome back, guys. This is New Comic Book Day pull list. We're going to be checking out some great books. There's some fabulous books we're going to look at. As always, guys, take this moment, like, subscribe, hit the button saying that you're here, that you're watching the video, that you're excited to be here. If you want to, comment what books are you picking up, and just go ahead and start thinking as you see the books come up, which ones do you think are going to be the awesome books that you could have? So once again, guys, like and subscribe. And this is the CBSI's New Comic Book Day pull list. All right, guys, as always, we're just going through this site, looking at some stuff. You can see my spiel as I talk about this, guys. Right here is 4 second prints that are coming out this week. Amazing Spider-Man 61, America Chavez #1 second print, Children of the Atom #1 second print, Infinite Frontier from DC second print. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a little burned down on second prints coming out while there's still first prints sitting on the shelf. I feel like yes, we've gone cover crazy and everyone wants to collect every cover, and the completionist in me wants to have every cover. I think it's getting a little ridiculous. I can go into my store and I can see Amazing Spider-Man 61 still sitting on the shelf. Children of the Atom, there's 30 copies of it still. Infinite Frontier, there's still 10, 15 copies of it. Does it really need a second print? Don't get me wrong. Infinite Frontier, I like this cover. I think it's a great cover. I might pick it up strictly because of the cover. It's a Darkseid. There aren't many great Darkseid covers out there. Children of the Atom. If that's one of the new main characters that people really like, hey, she's on the cover. Worth picking up. But why do they have to go ahead and have second prints is my problem. Make it a variant, but don't make it a second print. And that's just my little soapbox with that. Then another little thing, and I'm just putting this here because these are cover price books. They're not ratios. They're nothing like that. Heroes Reborn is a new thing Marvel's putting out. Heroes Reborn is set in where Squadron Supreme comes from, their universe. And it looks like it's going to have these little one-off issues, 3-part little things, and especially all these Marvel characters reimagined in Squadron Supreme's world. Squadron Supreme, and I don't know a lot about them, from the looks of their team, Hyperion and Nighthawk and all these different characters, they're a team that's basically designed to look like the Justice League. All the characters from the Squadron Supreme have their matching counterparts for Justice League. But then they're going to look at the rest of the Marvel characters. So like here, Daredevil, this is, if you can't tell by the handprint, that's Echo. Then you have the Shadow of the Phoenix behind her, which if you're reading Avengers 44, you know she became the Phoenix. Then you have Groot here and Rocket, but this is not how you ever see Rocket and Groot. And then you have Wolverine, and he's in charge in front of the Alpha Flight. But they all look a little bit different. The reason that I'm throwing these out there as potential spec plays is sometimes these characters have a growth of their own. They become popular, and their first cover appearance is where it really matters. So grabbing these covers for cover price might be worth holding on to. I don't know how many are going to be out there. What makes me think that is just when I look at the Rocket and the Groot cover there, I think that'd just be such a fun one-off Elseworld type of story. So that's where I like that. And when you think of it, Gwenpool came out of a series like this where it was Gwen on every cover that came out. They put Gwen on everything to go along with Edge of Spider-Verse, Spider-Gwen. And lo and behold, the Deadpool issue with Gwenpool sitting on the cover, she became a character out of that. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at some of these. These are the 3 that jumped out at me. There's, I think, 1 or 2 more for this week. Maybe there's going to be more next week. First appearances, guys. There are 3 books coming out that have some first appearances in them that we know about as of right now. Batman Detective issue #1. There's basically Batman's going to Europe, and so he's going to run into a character named the Squire, and then he's going to run into a team called Equilibrium. So first appearances are in there. Then you have Joker #2. People are going crazy for a variant. Thank you store variant that came out, and we'll look at down below. But that mainly, especially because you get Bane's daughter called Vengeance here in this issue. And after the Joker killed Bane in a previous book, they think, man, this is going to be a crazy character. She's going to be psycho. And then you have Superman 30. I'm sort of excited about this. I'm not a Superman guy any stretch. But after talking to Philip Kennedy Johnson a couple of weeks ago, you can check on my interview on 3 Comic Money. He's telling me he's writing Superman. So he's doing Alien. He's doing Superman. He's about to do Extreme Carnage. So I want to read his stuff. I read The House of L. It's actually really good. He did the Future State, War Worlds, and The House of L. Both of them are really good. So I want to see where this is going. So I'm going to pick this up and probably try to read it as well. Guys, there are a bunch of variants. Some of these smaller publishers are figuring out if they do a variant, they can get put on a list and they get their name and their publishing company out there. I think that's what Ablaze does. I think that's what Second Sight does. Absolute Comics, a lot of them are starting to do that. But let's look at some of these variants. So Nonstop Spider-Man has a 1 for 25. I don't know why, but I enjoy Chris Bachalo's covers. This is just fun. I have no idea. I haven't read issue 1. I don't know what issue 2 is about. I think these are just little short stories. They're not like a continuation type thing. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Peach Momoko has been doing a 1 for 25 or 1 for 50 for like every one of these issues. They're good covers. I like the theme. I mean, I don't know how many of these she's going to do. But there's a virgin version of this. And I think it's a 1 for, actually, I think it might be the Thank You store, but it could be a 1 for 50. I'm not quite sure. Guys, this is the Batman, the Detective. From the looks of the face, I believe this is a female Batman. Don't quote me on that, but it doesn't really look like a guy's mouth being drawn right here. So it makes me think this might be a Batgirl or some of the Squire character. Maybe this is her cover. And so it's the 1 for 25. Beside it, you have Kanto. There's a brand new Kanto series now that we know they're thinking about, they're going to develop it into an animated show. Hopefully, people are going to go after these books. This is a great cover. There's actually 2. There's a 1 for 25, a 1 for 10, and a 1 for 25. This is the 1 for 25. It's by Martin Simmons, who does Department of Truth. I love the cover there. Through 2 man, you're seeing me. I don't even read Guardians of the Galaxy, but I'm putting 3 of their covers up here. First one on the left is Yoon. Just sort of a fun cover, worth looking at. And then next to it, you have a Momoko. And every time I try to stop doing Momoko covers, I find one I like. I mean, she puts out enough there. She's going to do 10 or 15 in a week. You might find one you like. I like this. This is the 1 for, I think this is the 1 for 50. Just a fun. It's Groot and Rocket on the cover. Then this is the book that is astronomically climbing faster than you can imagine. The second they realize Vengeance, Bane's daughter's in this, you have a Bane cover. This is the Thank You store variant. It is started off, the first stores that listed it were selling it for $150. But today, at Monday at 10:30, $350. I don't know if those were actually legit sales, but this book has skyrocketed since it first got listed April 9th. And man, it's going fast and high. It's a high book. So it looks like a book that if you can get it for 100, more power to you. Then this is the 1 for 25 for the same book. Punchline cover. You can still find these, but I mean, it's going to be overshadowed, of course, by the 1 per store, which sometimes is interesting to me because some stores, yes, they might get 100 copies of this Joker too, but not every store is going to get 25 copies of it. So I don't know if the Thank You store necessarily or the 1 per store, 1 for 25, which is going to have more. This is a Carmen. This is the black and white 1 for 25. I did pick up Carmen #1. I have picked up 2. I'll probably pick up 2. I've heard decent things about the story. I've heard it's a interesting read. I want to check it out. I love the covers. I do like this black and white cover. This is a black and white of Sandman and Lock and Key, Joe Hill and Neil Gaiman writing a comic together. This is the black and white 1 for 25. J.H. Williams, the 3rd cover. There's a color version that's just a tray. I think it's a B cover of this, but the black and white's just stellar. I'm curious. I have not been reading the Sandman universe since they came back around with it. And in Lock and Key, I read the first book, but the first little mini series, but I haven't read anything else. But this does interest me. There are lots of store variants. Lots of stores came out. Lots. I don't know, 5, 10 stores. I've seen some different store variants come out for this book. Phantom of the Scan. If you caught my 2 Past 2 Future video last week and article, this is a book I keyed on. I love this. It's a 1 for 15 from Aftershock Comics by Cullen Bunn. It's just a fascinating premise. The A cover is great. This 1 for 15 is great. I want to pick up both when the store comes out. Phantom of the Scan. It's just gorgeous. Now it's starting to climb because people all think it's a great cover as well. Planet Comics. This is a 1 for 10, I think. It's a pretty good cover. I don't know anything about this cover at all. Proctor Valley Road. This is Christian Ward. This is the 1 for 10. Then he also has a Thank You store variant. There's a virgin version of this. I am digging Christian Ward style. Most of his covers I really do like. I like the fact, and I hate the fact that they're the 1 for 10s and 1 for 25s, because that usually means they cost more. But there are great covers. I have not read this series. I don't know what it's about yet. I have it. I haven't just. I wait for sometimes with these indie books. I wait a couple issues before I start reading them. Spider-Man's Spider Shatter. This is a what if story. What if the symbiote, if Spider-Man held on to the symbiote, what would that be like? Chip Zakadaba, however you say his name, Zakarsi wrote it. I like this. I like the premise. It's interesting. It's a great cover. This is the Zakarsi cover. There's a Noto cover down below. You'll see. I probably will pick these up if it's like the life. He also did the Spider-Man life story. Those have a little bit, especially issue 1 had some value. So I would pick these up if you can. Just a Jenica 2. I don't know if there's anything in this book. And then we're back to where we started. So those are some of the variants, guys. There are some more. I didn't put them all. Second Sight has been putting out some books. There's 3 books that come with a 1 for 5s. The Thor is ending, so maybe there's something significant in that. He doesn't have a 1 for 25 variant in that. So let's see what my Just For Me section. Now, some of these books we already talked about when I talked about Second Prince and when I talked about the Heroes Reborn covers. But there's a few more books I want to sort of look at. This is a Zafino Black Hammer Visions 3. These Black Hammer Visions books, they're just sort of one-off stories. Sometimes you might get some first appearances if Black Hammer world continues to grow exponentially. These might have some value down the road, but I like Zafino's covers, so I try to pick them up when I can, especially if they're cover price. This book called Home, it's sort of a fascinating story to me. I want to read it. It's basically trying to cross the border, and the mother and the son get separated. The mother gets sent back, and the boy gets pulled and put in a detention center or whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden, he starts to manifest powers. And that's sort of what you get. Like, okay, what happens from there? So it's going to be sort of interesting. Lighthouse. Let me pull this up so we can look at the cover. Same creators of Sonata. If you read that series, same. You can look once I say that and you look at the cover, you're like, oh, especially if you see the B cover. I want to check it out. This is Jules Verne Lighthouse. From the sounds of the story, it's basically 5 different aliens living on this lighthouse space station, way station type of thing, and then pirates are coming to overtake the station. But then you start to find out these characters' stories and how they're all interconnected, but they all have these interesting backstories. So I'm falling in love with stories about Kaiju. Kaiju, however you say it. I'm not a Godzilla guy, but I loved Ultra Mega. I loved American Kaiju. I like so this is basically, in my mind, it's what if Jupiter's Legacy and Pacific Rim were combined. It's basically the debutante daughter of a Kaiju fighting superhero, and now the Kaijus are back, and she's a partier, and how does she survive? And the title of the issue 1 is Party Monster. So who knows? This is from Dark Horse. It could be an interesting read. This is from Zenescope. 2 weeks in a row, I put a Zenescope book up here. This one is, it's Bunny Mask. It's Mangope and the Bunny Man. This is the cover by Edgar Salazar. It's just nuts. I have no clue about it. Know nothing about this book at all. But that's just a ridiculous cover. And then the other cover is more of a Zenescope style cover. This is a Pulp Fiction homage. The first issue of Eros and Psyche from a Blaze Comics had the Harry Potter homage. This is the Pulp Fiction homage. There's a collector market for Pulp Fiction homages. So this is the C cover, and then there's also I think a 1 for 25 or 1 for 30. That's a Virgin cover of this. But I actually really like this one because it definitely screams Pulp Fiction. The take off the trade, it doesn't quite feel the same way. Night Hunters, I'm still wanting to read this. I've read issue 1, issue 2. I'm going to pick up issue 3. This is Floating World Comics. It's like the only book that I know of that they do. Zero, I like his style. Then here's the Spider. I am going to read Spider-Man Spider Shadow. I've gotten out of reading Marvel and DC. I still collect Spider-Man, but I loved Life Story. I want to read this and see what Chip Zdarsky thinks of everything. So once again, guys, this is CBSI's new comic book day pull list. Hopefully you liked what we had here. Once again, let me remind you, like, subscribe. Guys, if you check out my channel, check out my IG. there is a contest that I'm doing. You have to find the right video. You have to find the right IG link, but you have a chance to win some nice set of variants, Star Wars variants from comic book exclusives. So make sure you're following me. Make sure you know what's coming out. So